Good morning, Kate.
Dean.
Hi. I think we're live now. How are you?
I'm great today, and you?
Doing pretty good. Um, it's like a beautiful day, and I always shut the curtains behind me, when I'm here going live because it's like this in the morning time, but it was still so bright this morning that it was like white out, like you couldn't even see anything. So I'm glad the sun's risen a little bit, but it's gorgeous outside, and I'm looking forward to a good weekend. Um,
Me too. Will you get outside at all? I'm sure you will.
Actually, I will. I mean, we have to, right?
We've got to do it while we
It's almost winter.
can.
So, Kate, welcome. Anybody watching, if you are watching, remember we can't see who you are. I do have it pulled up on my phone, but from my computer, I can never see names or anything. So, drop us a comment if you're watching. Let us know you're here. We're so glad you're here. And if you're watching this later and we're not live, also drop us a comment. We love to know who's watched and if you have any questions or if you've learned anything from our live talk. So, my name is Jean Favor, and I am a parent liaison with the Great Start Collaborative and Parent Coalition of Charlevoix, Emmett, and Northern Antrim County. And I work to help support families with children prenatal through 8 years old, getting them a great start on life. And every other Friday or so, I get to talk with a wonderful member of our early childhood community up here. And this Friday happens to be one of my dear friends, Kate Essenberg, who I've known for a while and met her actually, basically, I think, right from attending her playgroups when my children were little. So, welcome to Kate. If you want to introduce yourself, maybe let us know who you are, where you've been, how long you've been doing what you're doing.
All right. Well, thanks for having me today, Jean. It's nice to catch up with you here. Um, I'm Kate Essenberg. I work for the Women's Resource Center of Northern Michigan, and I've been a playgroup facilitator for 13 years this month. Time flies when you're having fun, and I've had a lot of fun at playgroup. Prior to that, I was a stay-at-home mom, and prior to that, and what feels like a whole nother lifetime ago, um, I worked in public health. But throughout all the times that I've worked, I've always worked with kids, really drawn to them and families. So that's a little bit of my history.
13 years is that's pretty remarkable. So I mean, just thinking about it, my daughters are going to be 11 and 10, 9. How old is Hazel? 9, 9 and 11. So I think I started going to playgroups when Scarlett was little because I remember when I was pregnant with Hazel attending them. So that would have been just a few years after you started, which just is kind of mind blowing um, that you've been, you know, dedicated to this for so long. And um, I just remember that was so over the moon. I remember bringing Hazel like after she was born, like a week later, and showing her off to all the playgroup families and to you. So, welcome and congratulations, and thank you for all the work you do. So, I used to attend East Jordan playgroups and Central Lake playgroups and Charlotte playgroups. It took me a long time to kind of like be comfortable going because I didn't know what they were. I never had kids before. Like, is this something I could do? So I think there's maybe a lot of parents that are like, I don't know if this is for me. So maybe you can talk about who, is welcome at playgroup and what you do there and what they can expect when they show up.
All right. Well, Gina, I appreciate your honesty. And I, too, was a playgroup mom. And that's how I was introduced to playgroups. And I probably would not have gone had one of my friends not invited me. Wasn't really aware of what was available in the community, and just not by nature real inclined to join a group. I don't know anyone. So I, again, appreciate that honesty. Playgroups are open to anyone that is caring for a child 0 to 5. Although I would like to throw in there that parents that are expecting are welcome to kind of get a feel for what's out there and get to know folks. Um, I have yet to have someone take me up on that, but I would love to have you if you're expecting and you're interested in checking this out. I don't have any kids at playgroup either, so you can sit by me. Um,
There's always plenty of kids. I think I went even after my kids started going to preschool. I just kind of show up and play with the kids because I miss them. So like, there's always somebody's kid that you can hang with.
Absolutely, and I feel like that is highlight something that happens at playgroup is parents have an opportunity to interact with each other, kids have an opportunity to interact with other kids, but then kids also have an opportunity to interact with other adults other than their parents. And I see a lot of really fun friendships form between children and other adults, which is really healthy for all of us. So I like to share this story from a playgroup mom from a number of years ago who has given me permission to share. And she said that she sat in the parking lot before her first playgroup for like 15 minutes. And she was going back and forth. I'm going to go in. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. And it was remarkable to me because she is a very gregarious, outgoing person. So I thought, no way. You weren't sure about coming in? Like, tell me more. Why? And she said, well, I felt like it was a first date. Will they like me? Will I fit in? Will we have anything to talk about? What is it going to be like? Will my kids act weird? Will people give me love? Like all those questions. And I just affirm that I think we probably all feel that way. Just not really sure what to expect. And are our kids going to act weird? I mean, I love my kids. They do. Yeah. Pretty much, we all take a turn doing something. That's part of growing up. That's part of being a kid. Actually part of being an adult, part of being human. So we try very hard to offer a welcoming atmosphere. I just want to reiterate again, it's any caregiver. So maybe it's a grandparent or a nanny or a stay-at-home parent or a working parent who's able to get an hour off and come over to playgroup. I have that too. Our playgroups are all right now from 10:30 to noon. The Charlotte group meets on Wednesdays. It's paused for the summer. It will start back up again after Labor Day. And then there is a group that meets in Boyne City at the library and in Central Lake at the First Congregational Church, except on Fridays. Except for today, I'm in the Central Lake Elementary School. We needed an alternative site for today. And so families are welcome to come. It's like an open house. Come and go as it works for you. I don't know how many times people say, oh, we're late today.
Right.
There's no such thing as late here. There's no such thing as leaving early. So you don't clean up. That's okay. Just to reiterate, just come and go as it works best for you. You're taking care of little people, and they have their own schedule, I've noticed. So anyway, we meet from 10:30 to noon, and it's based on free play. It doesn't always necessarily look like this, although these toys are from our regular playgroups. But I just spread out toys and kids kind of explore the room, meet each other. Some kids really just like to sit in what I call is the mom recliner, or maybe the caregiver recliner on the floor, hanging out with mom, or dad or grandpa or friend, whatever. But again, based on free play, letting kids explore the space and each other as they want to. And it's an opportunity. Parents chit-chat during that time with each other, with kids. Parents and children spend time together, checking stuff out. And then after about an hour and 15 minutes, I put on the same cleanup song. We clean up together, the same song.
13 years of the same cleanup song. Yep.
I should turn it on for myself at home.
True. It's like triggers that in your brain.
So we clean up together, and then we just do a really casual story time. Our kids are pretty young to sit and have their hands in their laps. So I just like to tell parents it's about exposure, getting used to the idea of sitting down in a more structured environment and having a story. And some kids are into it, and some kids aren't, and it doesn't matter to me. So
yeah, I mean, you're talking about a welcoming atmosphere. Like the first time you go into the playgroup, you're sitting in the parking lot like I don't know anybody, basically. And the first time you go in, it is a welcoming atmosphere, and you see a whole bunch of kids doing things that kids do, and maybe you have the outgoing kid that likes to run in circles, or maybe you have the one that likes to sit on your lap the entire time, and there's all those kids, like they're all doing different things, and it's just a relief to be like, okay, like this is a place for me, and And Miss Kate is amazing with the kids. If anybody's watching this or watches it later and has experience with playgroups, and Kate, I like she's adored across the playgroup community for all the families I know and have always felt welcome and good in there. And the structure of the playgroups, knowing what happens when, and there's always little dancing and there's finger plays, and we did those. We brought those home all the time. So when I went to playgroup, we always learned things as well to do with our kids, and just the kind of the modeling also that you do, Kate, is really helpful to parents, especially new parents that don't maybe have the experience in around kids at all. Like the way that you model handling difficult situations with children, and how to handle conflict among the kids, which sometimes happens, right? We're supposed to be sharing, but we don't want to, or we're hungry or we're tired or whatever. So that was a good, really parenting education piece for me also when I went to playgroup. Okay, I don't have to lose my mind every time something wild goes down. So that was super helpful to me as well. So you said kiddos 0 to 5, prenatal to
Mm-hmm.
5. So what happens if maybe maybe it's summertime, or maybe I'm a homeschooling mom, or maybe whatever reason I have my bigger kiddos with me for the day. Can I bring them along to kind of sit in the corner and read, or to play, or how does that? Is there a cutoff?
Yeah, Jean, I'm so glad you asked that question. And I want to back up and say thank you for your kindness. I too, I mean, I was the most amazing parent before I had kids. No, really much fun kids. So we're all in that boat together too, learning. Um, and I just want to throw out there, I have a friend who says to her 6-year-old, like when she has to go back and say, I told you you couldn't do this, but I got to thinking about it, and you can. And the 6-year-old maybe might push back a little bit and like, well, what's up with that, mom? And she likes to say, I've never been the mother of a 6-year-old before, okay?
Right.
And I love that graciousness.
The
And,
learning.
yeah, that she extends herself. Like, hey, I'm learning too. Um, so anyway, about siblings, that is an awesome question, and I do get that in the summers. Like, what do I do? I've got my big kids, and I tell parents, bring them, and you'll know. I mean, if you're at home like, oh gosh, this is probably not going to go well. It doesn't mean that you have an older sibling that isn't a great kid, but it might mean that playgroup just isn't a good fit. But I find often those big siblings, they come in and they're kind of like the rock stars of the group. The
Right.
ones, maybe don't want to interact with them, but they look with adoration and a lot of interest. And littler siblings really enjoy showing their big siblings what they get to do at playgroup. So often it's a really great experience. There are times when caregivers and I will look at each other and just like, yep, not a good fit.
Well,
But it's okay too. It's okay to come and learn that. And sometimes parents are really surprised. They think, oh, it's probably not going to be good. We're just going to stay for like 10 minutes.
right.
The little one can show the big one. And then it's really beautiful.
Mhm.
And they end up staying and coming back. So, yeah, thanks for asking about that, Jean.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
same thing with homeschooling. I have in the past had some homeschooling families. Two of our playgroups are at libraries, so sometimes there's some flexibility there to send an
Mhm.
older sibling not so far away to read or work on schoolwork while the little one's at playgroup, or for big brother or sister come on in and join us.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. That's good to know that, because who knows, if they're welcome or
Indeed.
not. I know that you obviously this is scheduled right before your playgroup, so I'm super glad you made you were able to make it work to talk with us this morning, and I know you probably have to get off because you probably have families showing up anytime now, and it's kind of cool that we get to see a little bit about what it looks like. There are always toys, and kids can play. It's gorgeous, but also, like you said, this is in a different location than normal, so don't show up at the elementary school next week. Um, they will not be there. But if you are around right now and you're in Central Lake area and you want to do playgroup, that's the place to be. So, are there any other stories or tips or thoughts or anything that you think people out there might want to know about playgroups before we sign off?
Yeah, I would just like to mention that I think it was Marie Montessori who said play is the work of childhood. And that, when I watch kids play at playgroup, it's like you can see their wheels turning. They learn a lot of skills, they practice a lot of skills, and there's so many opportunities. And I know that you mentioned conflict. Conflict over toys is part of playgroup. In fact, sometimes it can absolutely be a little uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's also a wonderful learning experience for children and for us as adults, to figure out how to navigate that. And learning to share comes in stages, and kiddos can't learn to share until they recognize they want something. So mine and no are really important skills to have. So I also want to reassure parents. I have heard that feedback a lot over the years. Like, I'm so nervous to come because my little one won't share with, sister or brother or cousin. And then it is interesting when kids are in a space with other children that they don't know, how they navigate that. And sometimes that is a no, mine, and some defensiveness. But kids are very sophisticated, more so than I think we might realize on the surface. But to get down and watch them and to help them navigate that it's really meaningful for all of us, I would argue. So anyway, if that's a nerve point or a nervous point for parents, I just want to reassure them that's part of the gig here.
Yeah, and I think that's, the beauty of it. Like, this is unofficial. It's not school. It's not like there's no expectations. There's no requirements. This is just an amazing place to show up and to engage socially with peers and other adults, like you said. So it was really beneficial for me. The last thing that just kind of popped into my brain is I have had a caregiver or two over the past say, so do I just drop my kids off and then come back? And it's not that sort of play group. So it is an interactive play group with caregivers sticking around. It's not like a place to get a babysitter or that sort of thing, right? So you come in and you are engaging as well with your kids.
That's correct. It's not daycare. It's interactive play group. So you stay with your child the whole time.
Lovely.
It's an important thing to know.
Yeah, it's important to know. And so some kids just kind of run in the door and all alone. So awesome, Kate. Thank you so much. And you're known as Miss Kate still to my children, and probably will be forever. So
I remember that newborn baby you brought.
She was a baby. Can you believe it? And your two lovely children, when you say you were a wonderful parent before you're a parent, also you're reassuring because you are a great parent and a great friend and a wonderful playgroup facilitator. So just really welcoming and really powerful experience, I think, for families. So I'm going to let you sign off and start your playgroup so we don't talk straight through it. And if anybody has any questions for Miss Kate or for me, and you're watching this in the future, please pop them in the comments or send a message, and we will make sure we get that answered for you. I will get is there a current flyer for playgroup times and dates? I don't know if it's updated for summer or...
It is, there is.
I think I have that one on our page.
I'll hop in later and post it in the comments.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Kate, and we look forward to seeing you around playgroups.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.